Invaders from Beyond is a new endgame seasonal event coming with Update 33. Here's everything you need to know in the shape of a complete guide, which includes 20 unique rewards, such as 2 brand new weapons. Let's do this! Hello everyone! Welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. Finally, Bethesda decided to release the highly anticipated Invaders from Beyond, a public event part of the game files for some 6 months or even longer. The Zetan invasion is happening with the upcoming Update 33, scheduled to go live this March if nothing changes. Now, this event can be really fun to do, but it's also very chaotic and deadly if you have no idea what's going on or what to do. To help you out, I decided to create a complete guide, starting with the essentials, then a quick walkthrough as well as expert tips, a few bugs to watch out for as well, and let's not forget about the long list of new rewards you can get. There are 20 unique plans to collect and I will showcase them all just for you. Well then, let's make haste and dive into the good stuff. Invaders from Beyond is a popular name in Fallout 76 right now because besides being an event name, it's also the name for the upcoming DLC, also known as Update 33. Note that this Aliens event was initially planned to be part of the Winter DLC for 2021, first called Tales from the Stars, which never saw the light of the day and got postponed to 2022. Now, this seasonal event will challenge players to defend the wasteland from the Zetans race, aliens coming from outer space. There will be new aliens to fight, new bosses, even a new mothership, and of course lots of exciting rewards. But when can everyone experience this event outside of the public test servers? Well, Bethesda still hasn't announced a fixed day yet, but according to the ongoing community calendar, the next patch and a new seasonal event should go live in March, so it should take a couple more months before all platforms can enjoy the new content. When it does, once enabled, Invaders from Beyond starts every fixed hour, just like it works for every other seasonal event we have so far, and the duration is rather short, only 10 minutes, but normally you can finish much faster. Furthermore, there are some mechanics you really should know about in order to avoid death. This event is a true player killer, and that can become frustrating over time, especially if you're not prepared and aware of what's coming. But before the walkthrough, let me explain the different spawn locations for this event. If you had a chance to try out the event already on the public test servers, you surely noticed that it can spawn in different locations. It's one of the few events which has a dynamic spawn, and that's totally okay. I think it's actually a good thing. It makes the event less tedious to do and a bit more fun to engage with. There are currently 6 possible locations where the Invaders from Beyond event can spawn. The information has already been shared by the Fallout Wiki team, and I also data mined this info, the same exact thing, to make sure they didn't miss anything. Right now, this event can spawn all across the wasteland regions, such as the Charleston Capital in the Savage Divide, the Dire Chemical in the Mire, the Garaham Mining HQ in the Ash Heap, at Monoga in the Savage Divide again, at the Sparse Sundew Groove, at the Cranberry Bog, and also at the Water Park in the Toxic Valley. Only the forest does not get a spawn here, but that's okay, I suppose. Anyway, since it can be tricky to track this event in the map, I highly advise you guys to use the World's Activity box to simply join the event. It saves you a lot of time, no more map browsing, no need to know where it spawned, no need to reopen or refresh the map, nothing of that. Easy peasy. Now let me walk you through the event and provide strategy tips to make your life a little bit easier. Alright, this new event can be described by one single word: chaos. This is by far the most chaotic and quick-paced event we ever had for 76, in my opinion. It's just packed with so much action and deadly traps everywhere. That's why you really should know how everything works and what to do accordingly. But first things first, every fixed hour the event will spawn once it's enabled, and the first step is to walk to the first Syphon and interact with it. I highly recommend using your compass during the entire event to track down each Syphon aka objective. The first is shown as a diamond, but the others will show as circles with the respective distance. Anyway, there are 3 Syphons in total attached to 3 event stages respectively. The good news is that they are always marked as objective icons in your compass, so it's pretty easy to track them down no matter the stage or location your event is at. Now, once you examine the device, you will be given 10 minutes to complete the event on the counter. Your second objective is to kill 30 aliens to draw the first boss, while the first Syphon extracts the brainwaves. It goes by really quickly, especially if the event is a full house with 20 players or something alike. Note that the event doesn't scale, so the difficulty level is always the same, whether you are a one-man army or a 24-player group. I know, it's really silly, but it's how it works. Now, you should also learn about the Syphon or brainwave structure behavior. This datamine image is very explicit. Basically, when it's building up an energy wave, run away, as it will deal area damage. As for the enemies, there are different types of aliens, such as toxic or freezing ones. They can be differentiated by their uniform colors and name tags as well. Once you kill 30 Zetans, the first boss, Lieutenant Kappa, will spawn, but he hardly poses a challenge. Should I say Kappa? In fact, in most crowded events, you will hardly get to see any of the bosses since they go down as soon as they appear. It's like poof, vanished. 76 could really benefit from event scaling, just saying. Anyway, I highly recommend you guys to take higher ground positions with some mobility to ensure your safety during the entire event. The first Syphon stage is the easiest one, and trust me, you don't want to be around these Syphons. They kinda hurt. Anyhow, once Kappa is down, don't forget to destroy the stage Syphon before moving to the next one. Remember to use your compass for directions when necessary. At the second Syphon Omega, you can expect more enemy types, including lots of drones, and the power armor Invader Zetans, which are a bit more tough to kill, but nothing too special. This is also when airstrikes begin, so welcome the red laser fireworks, and get ready to bunny jump all over the place if you want to stay alive. I will talk more about the airstrikes later and how can you avoid them consistently. Now, the next stage at Syphon Omega requires you to kill another 40 aliens to trigger Captains Alpha and Omega, 2 drones named enemies or sort of bosses. Just like Kappa, they are hardly a challenge, so don't stress yourself over it, not really. The big challenge here is to stay alive, to be honest, to avoid all these damage traps coming at you from every single side. After killing the 2 drone captains, it's time to head to the last Syphon called Zeta, where you will face the largest enemy wave yet to come, including a few flatwood monsters as well. They join the team at a later stage. The objective is now 50 enemies, which means in total players must kill 120 enemies per event, plus the bosses. What a massacre, huh? Well, after the space war is over, literally the final boss, General Zeta, will spawn close to the active Syphon. It's a 3-star legendary boss, but he's also not very strong, sadly. Now, all what's left to do is destroy the last Syphon to complete the event and claim your rewards. There's lots of goodies to collect, such as 300 caps per event. Lovely way to farm them, huh? But the highlight is definitely the 20 new unique plans you can get, which I will display later in this video. You can use the timestamps for a quicker access if you are interested in that. For now, let's proceed with some more intel, facts, and strategy tips. Alright, so this point is dedicated to solo players. Can you or should you solo the Invaders from Beyond event? Well, you definitely can, but I don't think you should, unless you are desperately looking for a new challenge or you enjoy torturing yourself, because let's be honest here, things will probably go south if you decide to solo the event. Not because the event itself is incredibly challenging, but because it's designed for group play. I mean, killing 120 enemies in just 10 minutes, plus all the other objectives on top, it's not really a one-man job, is it? I tried to solo to gather evidence, and things didn't go so well as expected. I mean, the first wave was not a huge problem, but as enemies kept spawning and stacking up, I found myself in a tough situation, surrounded, ganked, and time waits for no one. After I saw that I wouldn't make it in time, I just gave up and took cinematics instead. Now, I believe legacy weapon users will have a much easier time killing all these enemies than I did, but still, it's no easy task, especially during phase 2 and 3 with all the airstrikes and different enemies. If you die, it's basically game over, because it's precious time you cannot afford to lose. I definitely recommend you guys to stick to group play for this event. It's just unnecessary hassle to face, but at the end of the day, it's entirely up to you. Okay, so this next point is about the deadliest part of the event, the explosions coming from airstrikes, from enemies, and from Syphons as well. In fact, this event is a real struggle for bloodied builds, so I think you need any tips you can get here. So how can you navigate without risking dying every few steps you take? Easy. First of all, do not stand close to the Syphons. There is no need to anyway. The progress bar will go on no matter how far you are from them. Plus, staying close is basically asking to get hit by energy waves. So please stay away from them. Take the higher ground and just kill aliens safely. During the first Zeta Syphon, you don't need to move much because there's no airstrikes yet. But the second and third Syphons, yeah, you should keep moving. I like to bunny jump a lot, as shown in the footage. It helps immensely to dodge these target explosions. Another way to consistently dodge is to use your jetpack when you think it's too late to sprint away. Height distance seems to work, so the higher you jump, the higher your chances to avoid the explosion damage on the ground. The down part is that you might suffer fall damage, nothing you cannot solve with the right perks though. Anyhow, it works consistently as shown in these clips. Everyone around me died, but I managed to survive. I wonder why. Moving forward, keep in mind that the VAT system will often target the explosives, which means you can easily kill yourself and others by thinking you just shot at an alien instead, when in reality, you detonated the bombs earlier and got someone killed. Sorry about that, guys. I really didn't mean to, but yeah. I was still learning the event back then. I'm really sorry about that. Lastly, keep in mind that airstrikes continue shortly after the event is completed, so watch out. I often see people falling victim to this last trap as they proceed to loot corpses and then get hit by the remaining explosives. It is a very deadly and sneaky feature. Naughty, naughty Bethesda. Next, let's quickly talk about the enemies and bosses, or should I call them named enemies instead? As I mentioned earlier, the normal aliens got elemental powers, which are designed by their uniform colors and name tags. Individually, they hardly pose a threat, but in numbers, they can really hurt you, so watch out. Be careful of the numbers, and that's basically it. Now, there are 4 bosses currently, but only one of them is actually a legendary 3 stars, the General Zeta, spawning at the last Syphon. The first boss is Lieutenant Kappa, spawning at the first Syphon. He looks like the ordinary blue uniform Zetan, and he's really weak, as you can see. At the second Syphon, you will meet Captain Alphan and Omega, 2 drones which do not stand a chance either. I actually had issues to see them at all. They die so quickly. Lastly, the General Zeta spawns at the end. He's a 3 stars legendary Invader. He's also on the weakling side, which is really anticlimactic in my view, since he's like the high boss of this event, but he dies so quickly. Doesn't make much sense, does it? I also don't see him very often, but thankfully now you don't need to hit legendaries to access their loot. Plus, you can use area looting to access corpses you don't see. As such, accessing his loot is really easy now, no problemo. So there's no need to spot him at the end of the day. Something else I discovered while testing for this video is that stealth is not viable for this event. I'm not sure if these Zetans have some sort of special stealth detection skills or something alike, but yeah, stealth is really no way to go here. I mean, just look at that. I was solo taking cinematics using my Chinese stealth suit, and they always saw me. I died over and over again, even when I was really far away from them. It was so weird, as if I had a magnet to attract them. I don't know. Moving forward, when it comes to airstrikes, I also noticed they track players down no matter what. Even if you are in stealth, these laser beams will come at you. And no, it's not random or a coincidence. During my solo test, several airstrikes aimed right at my position despite being in stealth sometimes. Just look at this one. Impressive, right? I mean, it's fantastic evidence, of course, so I died gladly for it, in the name of science. Well, this next point is a bit contradictory, I know, but it's difficult to go around all the existing bugs. Now, I told you earlier to use your jetpacks to avoid nearby airstrikes. It's a trick that works, yes, but there is a huge con called the jetpack and stamina bug, which can make you fly to the moon, as you can see, literally. So use the jetpack trick at your own risk. Fall damage can also be deadly. Anyway, when you use the jetpack at crowded events, there is a huge chance to face server lag, and as a result, your jetpack flying skills get all fuzzy and buggy and inaccurate. But this is not new. This bug is live for a while now, and it often happens at Earl and Queen fights, so it's nowhere exclusive to this Aliens event, just to make it clear. There is yet another bug I want to mention here. While joining Invaders from Beyond, I often faced insane loading times. In other words, the event interface and objectives might take a while to show up. In my worst cases, it took a bit over 1 minute to fully load, which can drastically affect your gameplay, since you're not entirely sure what's the active objective to start with. If this happens to you, my best tip is to just shoot at the aliens. That's like 90% of the objective anyway, thus a safe approach, I would say. Also, do not relog or try to refast travel to the event, because this is done really quickly, and if you try to fix your problem, you will probably miss the event rewards, and that's something you don't want to do. So give up, don't try to fix it, just wait a little bit. Patience seems to be the key for this one. The last point is going to be a long one, since I'm finally going over the 20 new unique plans you can get from the Invaders from Beyond event. The Zetans really came to impress, since some of these new rewards are really exciting. There are even brand new weapons, no jokes. But first things first, the basic rewards are not notorious, besides the astonishing 300 caps per completed event, and of course the legendary cores. However, something you surely want to know is that the rewards pool seems to follow the Mothman Equinox logic, where you get increased chances to loot plans you haven't learned yet. This made my life a bit easier, as I managed to collect the rewards in less than a week. Now, if you're wondering what unique items you can get, here's the full list, data mined by Milfy. There are 20 entries in total, but sadly, half of them are just weapon mods, so it's not as much new stuff as it initially looks like. Let's begin with the new camp items dedicated to the Zetans, as it was to be expected. Players can now build the Alien Collectible Stein. It's the very first plan you get from completing the event. This stain looks like a metal jar with green glowing lines. I also checked it on the stain display case, and everything looks in order. It's a pretty cool decor for your kitchen area, I think. Next, we have the Asteroid under floor decor, one of the most anticipated items for the next update. It looks amazing. I'm not going to pretend. It's really nice. It's very rocky too, as obvious, but it glows different colors. A truly out-of-space item. The best part is that it's interactive and radioactive too. It's actually the perfect replacement for the radioactive barrel from Radiation Rumble. I even compared the values you get, and it's the exact same. Anyway, as for the appearance, it really depends on the time of the day, the lighting, and the space itself. Just look at that. It's the same item, but it can look so different. Needless to say that it shines bright at night, it looks quite weird indoors, and during the day it just looks like a rock with some colors. Of course it's nice in all scenarios, but I think at night it looks the best. Moving forward, if you are a Zetan fan, then you will be delighted to see that Bethesda added a Zetan corpse operating bed, but don't get mistaken, this is not a real bed. No, no, no. So don't look there. You can find it at the end of the floor decor list. Despite being a detailed sci-fi item, there is no possible interactions. It's just pure decor. At least this next item has some utility. The Zetan Stash Box can be found under Stash, of course, at the standard Stash entry. Now, this is no usual Stash Box, it's more like a high-tech vault with laser lights and a very advanced locking mechanism as shown in the footage, while I access the stash. It's really nice too. There's yet more Zetan stuff on the way, such as the Zetan Tube located under the MISC tab. I know we have been getting lots of these science tubes lately, but the Zetan one is highly detailed. I zoomed in and there was no blobs, lack of texture parts, so that's great, I guess. This is the perfect candidate for your top secret research lab. No doubt there. Talking about tubes, Bethesda also added 2 human tubes featuring a male and female individuals. It's a bit disturbing though, especially if you zoom into their faces. Or should I say dead faces. Plus, human testing is a quite sensitive topic in our society, but since this is just a game and it's the wasteland, science is science, right? And sometimes people gotta make unpleasant decisions for the greater good of the community. Next on the list, we have something very interesting. Let me inform you that we finally have access to the Alien Blaster plan. Before Update 33, you could grab Alien Blasters from certain locations, but the plan, not really. Bethesda also released 2 new magazine mods with elemental damage, the cryo and the poison mods, which make this weapon a bit stronger with special effects as well. Also, don't forget you can turn your Alien Blaster into legendary with the latest crafting system updates. Moving forward, there is an exciting new weapon called the Alien Disintegrator. It's this energy rifle weapon with a steampunk vibe. It looks pretty interesting. It's a brand new weapon to 76, and Bethesda also added 4 new receiver mods, 2 with elemental effects, the cryo and the poison, and we have the physical mods, the automatic and the high-powered receiver. Note that depending on the mod you choose, it changes the weapon damage perks it requires. For example, I modded my gun with the high-powered mod, and then I had to use the rifleman perks instead of commando, which would work if I selected the other one, the automatic mod instead. You can also make this weapon legendary, as obvious. I rolled a bloodied one and did some quick tests for you guys, and it's looking promising. I mean, the fire rate is really slow, it kinda reminds me of the plasma caster a little bit, but in terms of damage, it's pretty good for a rifle. I did not even have a full rifleman build there, and I could hit super mutants no problem with a bloodied version. I also noticed it crits a lot. I'm not sure if that's part of some hidden gun effect, because I do not have a crit build at all. Anyway, I believe this gun will become popular as soon as Update 33 hits the official servers. The same cannot be said about the second new weapon. It's a 2-hand melee one called the Electro Enforcer. It looks like a badass baston, yes, but the damage is far from being impressive. Bethesda also added 4 elemental mods for this one, such as the freezing, overcharged, poison, and spiked. Sadly, I could not get a poison mod yet, but I don't think it provides more damage than the overcharged mod. I also did a few damage tests with a bloodied version of the Enforcer, and the results were as predicted. The weapon is pretty decent, but it is competition enough for endgame melee weapons? Probably not. 2 hits to take down a super mutant is not that impressive. It surely is refreshing though to play with a new weapon, however there is way better already. For instance, my Warglaive or my Super Sledge do way more damage than this one already, as bloodied. Well, that's all you can get from the Zetans event. I hope you enjoyed this showcase. I know at first glance it looks like it's a lot of new stuff, but as you tackle things down, you understand that it's not that much, especially because half of it is just mods. But still, what we are getting, it's pretty exciting, and 2 new weapons is really, really great. Now, let's move on to the outro. We are close to the end here, and I must confess, this video was quite a journey. Initially, I thought this would be done in a few days, but it turned out to take almost a full week. First, I had to learn the event in detail, then to collect all the rewards, and finally to organize all the points accordingly with the respective footage. My gosh, it was so much work! Well, I hope it was worth it for you guys at least. I know that not a lot of people go into such level of detail for 76, so here I am back on track with high quality content just for you. Anyway, that's it for now. Don't forget that this event should only hit the official servers in March, but until then you can try it out on the public test servers as well as other new features part of patch 33. You can also watch my videos and learn more about it that way. It's your choice. My name is Marta Branco. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all very, very soon in the next one. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe, follow, and all of that. A huge thanks to all my dear supporters as per usual, and a special thank you for everyone who sent a support word regarding my recent difficult times. Until then, take care, adios, bye bye!